Monday Night Raw episode to go by. At least we had segmented builds for future stories. Like, of course, we have Drew McIntyre still aiming for his WWE Championship back. We have The Fiend now targeting Randy Orton for personal reasons. And if we have overarching cross-arching storylines like this since the beginning of the year, Raw would be more interesting to watch. Over the rest of what we've been getting for a majority of the show was meteoric, if I could say the least. Like, it kept declining and declining and declining as soon as we kept watching come the second hour of Raw. So we opened up with, of course, the boasting of the WWE Champion, over him being, of course, a third-generation superstar, 14-time world champion, becoming the youngest world's heavyweight champion. It's the most concurrent promo, and we understand that he's sucking himself off because, of course, he's the heel. So it makes a lot of sense, and I totally get it. But geez, it was kind of heelish off McIntyre's point to just come around assaulting him as soon as as soon as we heard the Fiend's music. Uh, Alexa coming into the fray, and then a Claymore kick off McIntyre. So McIntyre is doing heelish crap while still being like, in my handicap match with Morrison and Miz, Claymore for everybody, and I'll do that for the fans. I'll do that. Just rugged cigarette having voice. It's just aggravating at the standpoint of things. While that was happening, while McIntyre was laid out, Randy Orton, Miz, and Morrison were coming up for the cash-in. Failed attempt after Morrison tossed away both Miz and Morrison, saying that the only person that's going to kick his ass and become champion again is, of course, Drew McIntyre. And I thought it was an average opening segment to the show. Do I feel like this thing should have kept going? No, not that much. Uh, what we had was, of course, oh my god, bro, let's actually get ratings. Qatar on a whole match, Jeff Hardy against Elias. Of course, Elias going over it, of course, open, trying to mock the audience, going over record-breaking sales on Google Play for his, no, I don't think it's Google Play. I think it was on SoundCloud or something, for his album. Decent enough. Somehow Hardy won. The only interesting thing was he threw a stool into when Hardy went to reach for the guitar on a pole. Some bicycle knees, a whisper in the winds that I thought was a bit poorly executed. Other than that, it ends with Hardy getting guitar, whacking Elias with it. I think it ended up Swanton Bomb. Other than that, average match. And last time we saw something on a pole match, when we're gonna actually make Elias look strong, especially in a match that looked like he had the advantage to look strong. That's my opinion on the matter. Next up, we had Mandy Rose and lose to Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax. And it was a blowout. There was some counter Samoan drop. I think we had a snap suplex, nearly a bicycle knee for near fall. A roll up by Dana Brooke nearly scored the win until she got knocked out with the Kakina clutch for the win. Or Confuted clutch, I don't know. Other than that, that was the victory. Lana was involved, so later on, Nia Jax later in a promo just challenged her, and it's like, aren't they part of the same team? It's like 7 weeks in a row she's been smashed on the frickin' table for most of my reviews. And she's been jobbed out from the women's championship that we did not see Asuka the way. And this was supposed to interclose that she is a major part of Team Raw. And you come up jobbing out to Nia Jax, trying to feel like the enduring underdog, looking like you just came from one of China's old sex tapes when she pretended to be a wrestler while sucking some dudes off in masks. It's not a good look, I'm trying to say. So we had R-Truth against Bobby Lashley, and he thought it was Bobby Bush, so he came up with a water bottle. So later on, he just got speared for his troubles after trying to cheapen and try to get himself pinned and make sure he doesn't feel any pain. He gets speared at the end of it. Then Drew Gulak tried to steal the 24/7 title away from him. It ends up with him getting speared. Then he gets the pin on Drew Gulak, R-Truth. Gulak gets laid out, and Lashley gets predominantly still pushed a bit strong against some jobbers, even though, sorry. So, after, jobbing out the Retribution faction for the last, 4 weeks on television, then on pay-per-view, that's not a good look for the Retribution stable, and it's making you feel like they have nothing to do with the business. Yes, we know Lashley's focused on, beating Sami Zayn at Survivor Series, like champion versus champion matches felt less irrelevant thanks to his lack of identity with Sami Zayn, and Lashley's just going to be there trying to collect paycheck for his pay-per-view match. And later on, her business would be involved. They would intimidate R-Truth, and then they would the Lucha House Party that relies on pinning Drew Gulak after they were both laid out in the room. It was like 4 minutes, that was it. But that was with Styles and his bodyguards. Involving Styles, we got, of course, him going over his legacy in Survivor Series, winning with Team Raw. Like, there's no benefactor into winning Survivor Series. You don't give the captains titles. You don't let them run Raw. You don't let them have any source of, beneficial, exemplary. I'm sorry for I'm struggling to use big words. Any benefits of winning this crap. There's no importance into winning Survivor Series anymore. There used to be arcing storylines when it was to authority figures power pulling a certain situation or at least a title opportunity. Like, no champions or even in the Survivor Series actually feel like it's legit. It's Keith Lee. Now, Braun Strowman, Sheamus, and AJ Styles, they need a fifth member. SmackDown is trash because they got Jey Uso and Kevin Owens that came around wrestling engines. So we know it's full of some fat jobbers with no overcoursing storylines because Adam Pearce is somehow responsible for both ends, even though we don't even know how he even got this amount of power to begin with. Even though he was supposed to be fired thanks to Roman Reigns, even sign it until he actually did the ring. I'm not going to complain about that because continuity doesn't mean anything. So, the disarray, the lack of coexistence with Team Raw over Adam Pearce shuffling with the self-proclaimed captain of Team Raw. Styles, put something on Strowman if he wants to be on Team Raw because he, of course, most nominations. He has to be qualified, not by facing off against Drew McIntyre. Something more important is a threat than the guys that already qualified with Sheamus and Keith Lee. And the only thing that kept me out is broke a barricade, even though there's no people. And of course, there was a Top Gun hello from Keith Lee that broke his freaking neck. He literally hit the neck on the apron. Why don't you say that for the pay-per-view? I understand he's athletically gifted for his size. I'm saying he's fat. But other than that, it just was too high risk. That's why doing stuff like that is not a good move. Undertaker can have a good match without doing all the stuff he does at Mania. He does planchas on top of the rope until you see it at WrestleMania or another big pay-per-view. Wasn't back then, when he was still wrestling, but when he was facing off against Deuce and Domino, he'd be doing that plancha because there was nothing on the line. It's not that important of a match. And I understand it was important for this, even though he had nothing to lose, because he's already secured a spot on Team Raw. So doing something dumb as that is why he nearly was like Styles looks scared to hell because, oh my god, I think he almost broke his neck. Then there was a superplex involving everybody going down. It's like the ring didn't implode. There was a bro kick, some collisions. It ends with the power slam. It ends with a bro kick on Lee. It ends up with taking out Sheamus. The win goes to Braun Strowman. There was some recalls to the low blows from the previous week when Keith Lee and Braun Strowman fought. The match was as average as you take it for 3 heavyweights, but it kept dragging on. And I'll also have this on in my main event about it. It ends up everybody hugging up, handshakes. Then Braun Strowman got bro kick after Sheamus hugged Braun, and then Keith Lee pounced on Sheamus, did a drop kick on Keith Lee, and it was like, woo! Why are we all fighting? What's wrong with you guys? So obviously the commentator seems like, wow, okay, just got a handle on this dysfunction on Team Raw. You hear something about liking caps from professional wrestling helps. Not probably saying that the Bailey 2.0 probably got to her. Still, we had, of course, a Fire Funhouse segment. Well, the puppet said, "Go fuck yourself" 2 times. Bray said, "Holy sh!" They reference, of course, the fire on the the Wyatt compound. The neat trick Alexa learned was, "I look pretty good in the contacts," and that was practically the segment. I thought it was an average segment. Other than everybody cussing, and I know they're going to make that a one-time thing to begin with. I'm still not taking Bray seriously, and there's some people that feel like we can exempt the Fiend, because at least there was a part when he was completely white hot coming into 2019, and people are still trying to ask if we can have type of magic for a monster heel, and that's still not getting over because he can't get himself over even with Alexa, because it's actually giving Alexa something to do. The only reason that Nikki Cross is even on Raw is still to get the overarching plot for Alexa to actually have a match and a storyline, and it's so crap, in my opinion. It's my opinion. It's getting people to watch, so I don't have that much to complain. The Firefly House was at least entertaining in that standpoint, but other than that, I thought it was forgettable. So next up, we have Lance and Jax one-on-one, and I have to say that the match was, as I can say, was just Lana getting sympathy from the crowd, even though there's not that much of energy coming from a live crowd, and it's supposed to be an underdog fight. Chase already had the table set up as soon as Nia Jax hit the ring, and it ends with calling a worthless piece of crap that's pathetic. Simone dropped for the win. That's practically it. Not much happened, and it's like, the commentator's not questioning, aren't they part of the same team after that real? There's 5 spots. Then we had like Peyton Royce complaining, like talking about the match with Lana and Nia Jax. Like, ooh, they weren't even part of a segment. They were just putting out a dumb promo what looks like trying to issue some sort of chemistry with Lacey Evans. Like, let's break up a more popular and actually potential good tag team with the Iconics. Just to tag along that both women are blonde, and we need a reason to keep Lacey Evans on TV. It's not really going well. Why? Why do that as soon as you just break up the Iconics? That makes very sense in my opinion. That it's forced. It's just something to keep some of these women on TV, even though it was rumored that you're supposed to give both Lacey and freaking Peyton Royce a push. And with the lack of the women's champion, the Raw Women's Champion on literally Raw, like, she's not even focusing on her next challenger, even though it's shown that she got stuff against Sasha Banks on the pay-per-view. If you can make it, because of course we know her track record with defending her title on television. So, it's so depressing. This was. It ends up with her still getting phone dropped on the table. Lana's getting, called into jobber territory ever since Miro left. She's been losing women's title matches, just been getting smashed on table 24/7. Don't know why. I guess this is the punishment she gets for being on stream with Miro, and that one time she had a bikini, or that sponsorship garbage. But I feel like that's just poor. And it's like, why can we have them be managers? The women that look good obviously can averagely talk and just get any other person over. You can let her manage a woman, or at least a man in a standpoint. Like, don't be just making her a jobber. Especially if you have nothing for her. I don't even know what the hell they're doing with Carmella. Carmella looks like she got a duck face with some shell lipstick coming around, acting like she's really that interesting. I thought it was going to be a smoke show. There's nothing compelling about Carmella when the most over thing you had people that were actually more over than you with James Ellsworth, Enzo, and Kaz freaking sadly to say are true. And I shouldn't be saying sadly because our truth is actually likable. He's funny, and he was over with the crowd. Whatever dumb stuff he got himself to, and he got a reaction. He even makes the bus laugh. So you know that you ain't Carmella. So that's practically on the segment. I don't really care. The match was forgettable. Next up, we had an average match with the New Day against the Hurt Business for an opportunity on Raw Tag Team Champions. After it was Business Collect after dealing with the Retribution business, so they want to collect their due, and they would be taking the Raw Tag Team titles. And New Day came out respecting most of the veterans in the Hurt Business, except Cedric Alexander. We hate you, Cedric. It ends with transitioning into a tag team match, and it was Shelton Benjamin with Cedric against Kofi, and the match was fine. Slingshot DDT. We had Boom Drop. We had a dumb double stomp that I hate whenever Kofi do that because he isn't as fluid as a ring than he was 10 years ago. He comes around doing stomps. He's doing a skydive like it's no one's business, and it doesn't look that athletically impressive. He's still doing the boring moveset. Like, I feel like he's more sloppy in the ring. And people are asking why people don't, like WWE doesn't reference that much of Kofi Mania. Because no one cared about Kofi Mania. Ouch, I don't want to be like that. I mean, it's great for somebody's WWE champion. But, by God, I don't care about Kofi Mania. I never cared about Kofi Mania. And you know, even if this is going to be long term, nobody's going to remember it. And you had him going over Randy Orton. And you know Raw's doing completely better with WWE Champion because you actually remember Randy Orton is. I mean, kids obviously can remember what Kofi Kingston is, but he has hair like a black girl, and he wrestled worse than he did when he was like getting the IC title every year. Over a counter off some enziguris, it ends with a decent tag over to Shelton Benjamin, hitting him with not the lumbar check. I think he had him with a strike, and then the pay dirt came. Cedric came for the cover and pinned Xavier for the win. Hurt Business gets a 1-up on the New Day. Up we had Tucker looking like a fat, sweaty, musty mess of a man, looking like a freaking hero. I don't care. He's built like when the Wildcat. I think he was called the Wild. I forgot who's that person that used to tag with James Storm. There was America's Most Wanted. And then he started getting fat, was part of the ECW brand, and he just had the knock threat. That's how he looks like. That's how he's built. And he knew the most over thing he had was Otis. So why break up the tag team just to get him a Eagles Act, just to get him squashed by Ricochet. And for a moment, I thought that was Riddick Moss letting himself go because I think he's still part of Raw, doing nothing. So, we had Mustafa Ali beating up after, like, Tucker, he only lost the recoil. Other than that, there was some nothing. There was some nothing. This was forgettable. And it's, why am I supposed to care? Why target Ricochet, like, newcomers into into Raw? Ricochet barely been here for 2 years. And Tucker just got drafted. So what would be the point? They're making a statement. They're making an impact after getting jobbed by the Hurt Business every week. Yeah. They know their maths suck. The only highlight you guys have is Mia Yim suffering a seizure in a 6-man tag. You guys still got taken weak. And that, oh my God, Mustafa Ali's a chess player. Oh my God, he obviously set his pieces to run away when the numbers are not high him. He doesn't stand by he doesn't have a character. He just lead because somehow he's ugly, menacing grunts with dumb smidge. He looks like a guy that obviously got killed in the first, third of the movie in Despicable Me. The guy obviously sucks. He sucks. And the only way to break him was that he would be somebody else that would like a 10-time cruiserweight champion in 205 Live. And I'm still shocked why they're airing when they have under 15 people on the roster. So that's practically it. The heel veteran just comes out beating the crap out of irrelevant mid-carders. Ricochet used to challenge Brock on the WWE title, and it ended quickly as what Xavier said to Bobby Lashley about how long he had sex with Lana. So, practically still it. So after McIntyre had some baby face with the C about well not one Claymore, not two Claymores, not don't want to hear Claymore about conversation. So practically we had a handicap match. I was challenged after was calling McIntyre a petulant child after messing around and costing him his money in the bank cash in. So technically he still can't money in the bank clear. And minutes later earlier on just challenged a handicap match with him and Morrison. And the match dragged on for as long as I think it was 21 minutes. We had we had counters and find the Claymore, springboard, and Enziguri, flying clotheslines when they were gaining momentum. A plancha that was actually well done McIntyre, even though it felt like unnecessary in the middle of the match. And then after the skull crushing finale couldn't get it done, there was also that twisted neck breaker. Both kickouts. Even on a 2-on-1 situation. Still have McIntyre looking strong after the future shock, and then you hit him for the Claymore kick after some counter. McIntyre looks strong. Increasingly, I understand like a Money in the Bank winner, you can't have him as like master strategy because of them. So, and that's trying to have heel here. I am actually being serious. Miz sucked. Miz came out and delivered no at all until Bray Wyatt came with the laughing grin. So that was practically it. As awkward as it was back in that 6-man tag, where in Retribution like was about to jump on Bray Wyatt until he teleported. It looked that corny of an ending. The match dragged increasingly. Some parts were actually pretty cool because McIntyre sometimes in matches actually has a cool moveset, but they keep dragging it on to make him still an indie-rific moveset, even though he moves like a heavyweight, and I can't say you can't display athletic feats as a heavyweight, but sometimes when you drag on doing kip-ups, freaking topes and you come around doing German suplexes and spine busters with a bridge pinfall, it doesn't look that consistent. It just looks forced, just to show something athletic for people to be like, "Oh wow, McIntyre can do that now." It's dumb. That's some OVW garbage that they do for tryouts. I don't really care. McIntyre at least tried the best he could to actually make this more entertaining. I didn't care about the handicap match because there was no cost in it. The only important thing that happened was Braun Strowman was part of the Raw is now part of Team Raw. Like that's actually gonna matter come pay per view, even if they win or lose. And of course, Hurt Business pinned the New Day, and there's at least overlapping stories involving Orton, McIntyre, and Bray. So at least we have something that will keep us interested to watch ongoingly. The women's division sucks. So that's practically my review on Monday Night Raw. If you guys have anything else to discuss, want to keep talking about wrestling, please comment down in the comment section below. Love to hear your thoughts, opinions. Other than that, that's it coming from me. I want Tylenol. Thanks for watching. This gets a 4 out of 10.